Well, those were some of the scenes as the holiday shopping season unofficially kicked off in the United States. Sales hit a record-breaking $11.4 billion on Black Friday alone. Over the weekend, 226 million Americans went shopping. And more than ever this year, they saw logos only familiar to Canadians. So our Amanda Lang headed to New York City for this special report, following some of the Canadian companies seeing if they can make it there.
10, 9, 8.
11:59 a.m., New York's fashionable Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. Anticipation is in the air. In a matter of moments, the doors open for the very first time.
7, 6, 5.
It's a big moment for this retailer. This is the first Joe Fresh store to open outside of Canada.
3, 2, 1.
Making it the latest Canadian retailer to try to make it in America. Almost instantly, dozens and dozens of American customers pack the place, all eager to buy clothing from this Canadian brand. Watching anxiously, the man behind Loblaw-owned Joe Fresh, Joseph Mimran.
It feels great. It feels great to be back on Fifth Avenue.
With over 300 successful locations in Canada, Mimran sees this store as a beachhead for growth. Mimran founded previous retail success Club Monaco, still a vibrant presence in New York under new owner Ralph Lauren, so he knows the risks.
You have to develop the infrastructure and you need to build the team, and you have to sell the brand without people ever seeing it. So, you know, we have 5 years of history of the brand in Canada, so everybody understands it and knows it, but it's really day one here.
Do you think about the U.S. economy as something that is a headwind for you?
This is a very difficult time to be entering the market. It's difficult in that consumer spending is down, discretionary income is down. It's good, however, in terms of, you know, people are looking for value and continue to look for value. So the value space is a good space to be operating in.
Counting on that, Mimran plans to open 5 more stores in Manhattan. Judging by the sales here within minutes of opening, Mimran's gamble might be paying off. And he's not the only Canadian with an eye on the U.S. market. New York is the center of everything from fashion to finance. It's where people come to make it. Something interesting is happening. Slowly, the Big Apple's being painted Canadian red. Over the last few months, Canadian companies have been opening up stores here like never before, entering this ultra-competitive and cutthroat market at a risky time. Montreal's Macage is here. Vancouver's Aritzia opened this store in June. Lululemon has multiple stores. You can even get your double-double. And need to do some banking? You might feel right at home at America's most convenient bank. In terms of New York expansion, how much room is there to grow? How many more branches could you get?
You know, we have an enormous way to go still, and if I think about it today, we have 86 stores in New York City, including Manhattan and the 4 boroughs. We can easily double that presence.
When we visit, we meet New Yorker Greg Braca, who heads TD's business here. Braca says it's a big change for the bank.
Just a few years ago, really, TD in New York really had no presence, no brand. The coolest part about this whole thing is TD went from who's that to that's my bank. That's who is America's most convenient bank, and the growth has just taken off from there.
TD is now the 5th largest bank by deposits in this massive market. The New York City area has $1 trillion worth of deposits. As TD takes a bigger bite of that business, its brand is growing stronger at a time when brand Canada has never been better. Today, there are about 177 Canadian-owned businesses of all types operating in New York. Those companies are in 318 locations around Manhattan, and they employ 19,000 people. And the jobs aren't just being created in the U.S. TD CEO Ed Clark says it's less about moving a Canadian bank south than about running a new kind of bank while creating and keeping jobs in Canada.
No one has really ever done this before, is instead of having a Canadian bank own an American bank, we're actually trying to create a North American bank. So what does that actually mean? It means that we have one data center that serves all of North America, and it's located in Canada, so those jobs are there. We have a call center in London, Ontario, that is the premier call center for TD Ameritrade. When we do campaigns, we'll often do them out of Canada and into the United States.
We've probably never had a strong brand as we do today.
Canada's Consul General in New York, John Prado, says it's typical to see the benefits cut both ways.
It creates jobs back home in Canada. So you can draw the direct link between jobs being created in our country and expansion through export here and trade.
You can see the appeal of this huge market right at our doorstep, but this land of opportunity has burned Canadians before. Canadian Tire, Jean Coutu, even Royal Bank of Canada, all strong Canadian brands faltered in their U.S. expansions, and it's not entirely clear why. Even Tim Hortons gets a lukewarm response in New York. Ambitious expansion plans after its purchase by U.S.-based Wendy's have been scaled way back. And while it has more than 3,000 stores in Canada, it has just 500 across the U.S. So what's different for today's crop? For one thing, they can learn the lessons of others' mistakes.
How important is it to be here, to be selling your shoes at a place like Lord & Taylor?
Well, Fifth Avenue, for retail standpoint, is kind of like, winning Olympic gold.
Ron White has successful shoe stores in Canada, but when he went south, he decided not to open his own stores, avoiding some of the complexities that come along with a physical expansion.
I went and looked into it, but I mean, we're talking about a whole foreign organization for me, which is a little scary. You're dealing with landlords in a different country, you're dealing with staffing, you're dealing with, it's a whole new animal. There's a lot of neat things that go inside the shoes.
The payoff for White? Scale without the hassle.
The quantity of pairs, the quantity of dollars, whichever way you want to look at it, we speak pairs a lot, but the size of it is the same size as what one of my top stores would do in a year. That's their test order for 1 quarter.
And possibly the biggest lesson of past failures, businesses wrapped in the Canadian flag often suffered.
But I think at the end of the day, I don't think our customers care whether it was based in Toronto or in New York or in Philly. I think what they really care about, can they deliver the services? Do they have the products we need? Are they safe and sound?
Because it's not just the price, it's the hand feel, it's the quality level.
Joe Mimran's products are pitched as high style at low prices. No Canadian flags, though.
We're not quintessentially Canadian in the sense of our offering. Our offering is very international.
And that may be the most important element of this trend. At a time when Canada stands out as a beacon of relative strength, Canadian business is ready to take on the world.
Describe that end game for me. What does that look like to you?
The end game looks like I can be anywhere in the world and somebody will say, ah yes, Joe Fresh, I know it well. Great brand.
The world may await, but with Brand Canada on a roll, these Canadians will start by trying to make it here. Amanda Lang, CBC News, New York.